Okay, so 3.7 section that's called Formulas and Functions. I'm going to work on number 12 as sort of an intro to how this works. And number 12 says the volume of a rectangular prism is V equals L times W times H. And really what they're trying to get you to be able to do is solve for a given variable. They want us to solve for the H. They want us to get the H alone is what solving for H means. Right now it's solved for V. V is by itself. We know that V equals all this stuff. Well, they want you to rearrange this so that H is by itself and it says H equals a big mess of stuff. So that's the goal, or at least one of the major goals of Algebra 1 is if you get given something like this, you can move stuff around and isolate for a variable. So today I've been sort of introducing this, and I've tried to get my students to realize that they actually already know this stuff. I'm just here to teach them how to apply what they really already know. And so you just saw me write this side over 1 and that side over 1. You should know that anything like V divided by 1, that's still just V. So that shouldn't be a shocker. Same with this, L times W times H is just over 1. So, that mass divided by 1, it's still just that. I haven't, it's not rocket science at this point. So the reason I want to create these, the reason I put it over 1 is to create levels, like fractions, so that there's levels. Because when a person like, an experienced person like myself sees this, if I know they want to solve for H, I know that this L is just going to end up down here, and the W is going to end up down there. So our answer is basically going to end up looking like this. So just like I said, the L just moves down here, the W moves down here. And so that's what's going to happen, and I want my students to know that it's that simple, but I don't want them to just go from here to there because I've got to see the steps. There's no way I can read their mind when I go to grade their work. Algebra is more about showing the steps and understanding step-by-step logic, knowing every step is correct. That's more important than the answer. The journey is more important than the answer because it is the journey that makes the answer. So, to show my students how these two variables end up down here, I guess I could show you just, well, it might help actually to break that up and show you that this is really L over 1 times W over 1 times H over 1. And that shouldn't be any kind of a shocker either, because if we multiplied all these together, we'd get LWH. If I multiplied them all together, we would get that. And then 1 times 1 times 1 is just 1. So surely you can see how that can be broken up into little fractions. And I could have left it like it was over just 1, 1. But I think this might be a little easier to digest. And so I'm just breaking it up. And so far I haven't done anything you don't already know. What you might not know if you're one of my students is that you actually can do this, and it, taking it off to the side sort of proves to you that that's legal. That can be done. So if I want to get rid of this L over 1, if I multiply by its reciprocal, then what ends up happening is I tell my students they can cross-cancel. This L can cross-cancel with that, and the 1 cross-cancels with that. And then this thing that we did to this side, multiplying by 1 over L, needs to happen on the other side, because we all know that if this side's equal to that side, and we do something to this side, we've got to do it to the same thing to that side, otherwise they're no longer equal. And we'd end up with the wrong answer. So, just a side note, if every step of the way you're doing stuff that you know is legal, you're going to end up with the right answer. The only time you end up with the wrong answer is when you do something that's illegal. So the reason this is legal, we did 1 over L times this side, 1 over L on that side, perfectly legal. And to take another step back, I want to point out that when I put the v over 1 back at the beginning, what I was talking about is that's legal, because v over 1 really is the same as just plain old v. So that's one of the major themes that I'm trying to stress to all my students, and I want them to focus on that, is that every step of the way it should be legal. So you might now wonder if I can cross-cancel these, why is it that I can cross-cancel them? And I do want to stress, I want my students to know the reason that you can cross-cancel. And the reason why you can is if we just took, it's really L times W times H times 1, but if we just multiply these two together, we would end up with, over to the side, L times 1 is L, and 1 times L is L. So essentially, if we put these two fractions together, we multiply them together, we get that, and that's a 1. That's, I tell my students, a multiplicative identity. L over L is equal to 1. Therefore, since the product of these two are really just 1, it eliminates them. And I understand that so far I've done a lot of explaining, and you may not understand, or hopefully you understand the baby steps that add up, and it probably seems more complicated to explain it all, but I think breaking it down into those baby explanations is really your only hope for developing an instinct for what is legal and what is not, because you can rationalize that. So there's the explanation for cross-canceling. Some students, they're not that interested or intrigued by why you can do it. They just want to know how. And so when I tell them cross-cancel, they just cross-cancel and they don't ask why. But I think it pays to understand why. Now, so far, these have been eliminated. So down here we would have W over 1 times H over 1 equals 1 times V is V. L times 1 is L. And so there it is. Just like I said, I can grab that L and move it down here. That's what has happened. L moved down. So likewise, the W can just move down. But I don't want you to just do that. I want you to show me how it works. 1 over W, that's the reciprocal of that little fraction. And we have to do the same thing to both sides. Cross cancel. And 1 times V is V. And W times L is WL equals H over 1 can just be written as H. So there is the step-by-step way to work this out. I would now like to show you, if you hopefully understood that, I would like to start the problem over and show you how you could actually take care of all of this in one step. I suppose one way of looking at it, actually I won't do that. I'll just show you that you multiply times L times W, 1 over L times W. If we did that, both of these would cross cancel. Of course, the ones would cross cancel. And we do the same thing over here. And so V times 1 is V, and LW times 1 is LW, and H is over there by itself, and that's what we want. And so hopefully you can notice 1 over L, we did that, and then separately we did 1 over W. In this case, 1 over LW, and I guess to make it look the same as that, I should put parentheses. So hopefully you can see it's like a combination of those. And this is perfectly all right to take care of 2 steps in one. So there's 2 ways to do it. If you want to do it baby step, and then answer, or do the combo where you're taking care of 2 things at once. I prefer that actually.